Let's be honest, we are all pretty exhausted by the modern attention economy, right? It feels like everyone is just shouting to be heard. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring a completely different approach to earning true influence, an approach that bypasses all that noise entirely and focuses on building a foundation of deep, lasting respect. To really get this, let's contrast the super aggressive landscape of modern marketing with a much more sustainable path. On one hand, you have the typical approach. We are talking scattered content, relying heavily on flashy social media aesthetics, and, well, basically buying attention. It's just exhausting. Constant self-promotion. On the other hand, you have a model built on actual substance. We are talking about a coherent body of work and earned recognition. It's the difference between literally paying people to look at you and actually being respected for what you contribute.
So Section 1, defining the philosophy. Before we can make this shift in our own work, we need to understand the core philosophy behind it.
And that brings us to a concept called silent authority thought leadership. This brilliant framework was developed by the Dutch entrepreneur, author, and executive coach Ben Steenstra, drawing on more than 30 years of practical, in-the-trenches experience. Silent authority thought leadership is essentially a comprehensive philosophy for entrepreneurs, experts, and organizations. The goal? To earn a recognized thought leadership position. And you do this through a distinctive vision, purpose, expertise, innovation, focused content, and consistent actions, all without any of that aggressive self-promotion or attention-seeking we just talked about.
Now, I want to clarify something absolutely crucial right up front. The word silent does not mean adopting a quiet leadership or management style. And it definitely doesn't mean being invisible. What it actually means is communicating deliberately. It is about communicating with clear, strategic intent, entirely without unnecessary noise. You are basically letting the sheer, uncompromising quality of your work and your clear vision do the heavy lifting for you. Moving on to Section 2, visibility versus true authority. Let's really rethink how we approach long-lasting influence.
We really need to draw a hard line between the illusion of influence and the reality of leadership. The contrast between the two is eye-opening. Chasing visibility? That is an endless, frankly exhausting treadmill. But building true authority creates a lasting foundation. Selling your expertise is just a simple transaction, but shaping an entire conversation positions you as a pioneer. And here is the real kicker. Bought attention literally disappears the second you stop paying for it. Earned recognition, though, compounds over time. Silent authority thought leadership is entirely about living in that reality of leadership. And that leads us to the 5 pillars of appeal within silent authority thought leadership. These pillars prove that true influence doesn't come from how loudly you shout, but from the authenticity and quality of what you actually have to say. It is about focusing on uncompromising quality, inspiring your audience rather than manipulating them, cultivating genuine curiosity and a bit of mystique, aiming for long-lasting connection and impact, and of course, embracing real innovation and disruption. By doing this, you naturally pull people in, rather than forcing your message on them.
All right, Section 3, the sequence of authority. Let's break down how this actually builds into a practical, actionable sequence.
Ben Steenstra maps out this exact step-by-step causal sequence for developing silent authority thought leadership. It all starts with purpose. Purpose creates meaning. Meaning creates vision. Vision creates grit. Grit enables consistency. And finally, consistency builds authority. It is a deeply logical evolution, but it completely relies on internal alignment. You simply cannot skip or rush these steps.
I want to hang on that concept of grit for a second because it is so important. Grit is an outcome. It is not a starting point. You cannot just fake it or force it to look tough. Genuine grit naturally emerges when you are driven by a meaningful purpose, not by whether people are liking your posts online. When your vision actually matters to you on a deep level, you naturally develop the persistence to just keep going no matter what obstacles pop up along the way.
Okay, Section 4. Shaping the conversation. Let's look at how silent authority thought leadership actually manifests in the real world.
Nelson Mandela is just a profoundly perfect example of this philosophy in action. His authority wasn't merely rhetorical or loud. It was moral, historical, and deeply connected to a massive vision of justice and equality, a vision he carried through immense, almost unimaginable resistance. He shaped a global conversation over his entire lifetime, using integrity, empathy, and strategic patience. That is the very essence of silent thought leadership.
Over in the corporate world, Patagonia absolutely embodies silent authority thought leadership. Instead of blasting out scattered, noisy promotional content or relying on cheap marketing tricks,
They have built a coherent body of work entirely around environmental protection. They use their actual business platform to drive awareness and take real action against climate change. And by standing so firmly for their purpose, they have earned incredible, fierce loyalty and global recognition.
Apple is another fantastic example. They prove that an uncompromising focus on premium design and long-term value is what really generates loyalty. Think about it. Their product launches and marketing are often surprisingly subtle. They just focus heavily on highlighting the unique quality of the product itself. They avoid those constant, desperate discounts or aggressive sales tactics. They let their innovation do the talking, establishing them perfectly as a brand driven by silent authority thought leadership.
Moving to Section 5, communicating with deliberate intent. Because this brings up a really practical question. If we aren't using flashy aesthetics and constant noise, how do we actually get our vision out there?
Well, practitioners of silent authority thought leadership communicate with highly deliberate intent. They strategically choose channels that let them share deep, substantive knowledge and actually spark curiosity. So we are talking about things like writing opinion pieces for reputable journals, publishing a comprehensive, well-researched book, releasing deep-dive white papers, leveraging really strategic search engine optimization, or even organizing intimate, high-level dinners and events. These methods foster deep, meaningful engagement, instead of just superficial, mindless scrolling.
But navigating this path requires some pretty strict boundaries. It really comes down to a clear set of do's and don'ts. You absolutely must focus on quality and vision, and avoid focusing purely on short-term financial metrics. Do inspire your audience. Do not use manipulative or aggressive marketing tactics. And definitely prioritize building long-term connections over chasing whatever fleeting trend happens to be going viral today. Maintaining this kind of premium, understated, and authentic position requires a ton of discipline.
Finally, Section 6, the final shift. As we wrap up this explainer, I would love for you to take a step back and really look at the long-term impact of your own work.
Ask yourself this: are you simply adding to the noise, or are you building a legacy of true authority? Earning a recognized thought leadership position takes time, it takes patience, and it demands a truly distinctive vision. But the influence you build, it is profound and it is entirely sustainable. If you want to learn exactly how to transition from chasing short-term attention to building long-term influence, I highly encourage you to dive deeper into this transformative philosophy. You can discover the original work directly at bensteenstrata.com.